Do not scroll past this exact moment. This is not an accident on your screen today. I am speaking directly to your spirit right now because a massive financial miracle is actively entering your house tomorrow. The enemy wants you to swipe away and lose your focus. But there is a silent attack trying to distract you. Listen to me deeply. You assume you are just watching another video. You think your life is just a series of random struggles, but heaven has orchestrated this specific pause for a reason. I see the heavy weariness you carry in your bones, and the financial pressure is crushing your chest every single morning. You wake up tired before the day even begins. My beloved child, I know exactly how much you are hurting right now. You have been the silent endurer for so long. You smile for your family, while your mind races with anxiety. You are constantly calculating numbers that never seem to add up, and the burden of provision has fallen heavily onto your weary shoulders. It feels completely unfair. You work harder than anyone else around you. You pour your energy into everything you do, yet the reward always seems to slip through your fingers because money comes into your hands and vanishes like water. Unexpected bills arrive the moment you finally save a little bit. You feel like you are walking on a treadmill of endless debt. There are nights when you stare blindly into the darkness. You ask me why the struggle must be so bitter and endless. You wonder if heaven has somehow forgotten your address. You see others prospering with half the effort you put in, while a quiet whisper tells you that you are destined to remain poor. I tell you today that this is a lie. The truth is far deeper than your bank account. You are not cursed by some random string of bad luck. What you are experiencing is an unseen warfare. The darkness recognizes the immense calling placed upon your life, and it knows that a financial breakthrough will make you incredibly dangerous to its kingdom, so it fights you fiercely. Every time you get close to the finish line, something breaks. An emergency drains your sudden provision. A promised opportunity disappears without any logical explanation at all. You blame yourself and wonder what you did wrong, but you did absolutely nothing wrong. You are simply under attack because of the massive harvest waiting for you. Pause right here in this quiet space. Let your breathing slow down for just one moment. Take off the heavy armor of survival you wear every day. You do not have to figure out tomorrow all by yourself because I am stepping into the chaos of your financial storm right now. I am bringing a peace that the world cannot understand. Rest your soul. Do you know why the pressure has been so intense lately? Because you are standing right at the edge of the border. Tomorrow is the day. The scales are finally tipped in your favor. The enemy is throwing everything at you to make you surrender, and it wants you to agree with the poverty and accept the brokenness. Do not give in today. I have watched you sacrifice your own needs for others. You always make sure everyone else is fed and safe. You buy the cheapest things for yourself to save pennies. You hide your financial panic so your loved ones will not worry. But I have caught every single tear you cried in the secret place. Your quiet faithfulness has moved my heart. The delay you have experienced is not my rejection of you. I was using this painful season to build your inner strength. I needed to ensure your character could sustain the immense wealth coming. If the blessing arrived earlier, it might have crushed your foundation. But now your roots are deep enough to hold the massive weight of my glory. But the final test is happening in your mind right now. Will you believe the reality of your current empty hands, or will you trust the invisible promise I am speaking into your spirit? The financial chains binding your family are ancient and heavy, and they have kept your bloodline trapped in poverty for multiple generations. It stops here. You are the one chosen to break this endless cycle. You are the cycle breaker heaven has been waiting for, but you cannot fight this battle using only your earthly strength. You must elevate your perspective and see the spiritual courtroom. There are legal decrees of lack written against your name, and I am about to tear them all down. Do not let the familiar spirit of defeat whisper to you. It will tell you that you have hoped too many times before. It will remind you of every past failure and closed door. Silence those lying voices immediately. Tomorrow brings a sudden shift that will leave your enemies completely paralyzed, because your provision is already dispatched from heaven. I want you to stay with me in this sacred encounter. We are going to dismantle the hidden traps together. I will reveal exactly how the enemy has been stealing your money, and I will show you the divine strategy to take it all back. The restoration will not just be what you lost, but it will be a double portion of absolute abundance. I know the exact weight of the silent tears you shed. You wait until the house is completely quiet and dark. You sit alone and let the exhaustion wash over you. And in those hidden midnight moments when no one is watching, you finally allow yourself to break down under the crushing pressure. You weep because you are so incredibly tired. You cry because the math never seems to work out. You work so hard to provide a good life, but the cost of simply surviving keeps rising higher. You stare at the bills stacked on your table, and a deep wave of panic tightens your throat completely. You wonder how you will make it through another month. I see this quiet terror. You carry a heavy shame that does not belong to you. You feel like a failure when you cannot afford things. You look at your loved ones and wish you could give them more, and every time you have to say no to something simple, it feels like a sharp knife twisting inside your chest. You bear this pain in total silence. I see the way you meticulously calculate every single penny. You walk through the store and silently add up the prices. You put things back on the shelf because they cost too much. You pretend you do not need or want anything for yourself. But heaven notices how you constantly sacrifice your own basic desires to protect your family. You are the strong pillar everyone else leans upon heavily. They bring their problems and their needs to you. You smile warmly and tell them everything will be all right. But secretly, your own foundation feels like it is crumbling into dust. You wonder who will hold you up when you finally collapse. I am the one holding you right now. Your physical body carries the trauma of this financial strain. Your shoulders are always incredibly tight and tense. Your stomach churns with anxiety when the phone suddenly rings. You lie in bed staring at the ceiling for hours, and your mind races with endless scenarios of disaster while the rest of the world peacefully sleeps around you. You have poured out your soul trying to make progress. You tried every method and took every extra shift available. You believed the promises of people who said they would help, but they walked away and left you holding the heavy bag. You feel incredibly foolish for trusting them and hoping for a better outcome. Do not condemn yourself. I was there when you opened that bank account app. I saw the pure dread wash over your tired face. You closed your eyes and whispered a desperate prayer for help. You felt so small and insignificant in that fleeting moment. But your trembling prayer sounded like roaring thunder in the courts of heaven. I heard every unspoken word. The world tells you that your worth is measured by money. Society makes you feel invisible because your pockets are empty. They judge your character based on the car you drive, and they completely ignore the pure gold that exists inside your beautiful heart. But heaven measures your massive wealth by your enduring faith and quiet sacrifice. You are my precious and deeply beloved child. You are not a disappointment or a burden to my kingdom. The lack of resources in your hands does not define you. You have felt like an orphaned child wandering in the desert. But you are actually an heir to a kingdom that possesses infinite riches and absolute power. Let the heavy mask of perfection fall completely to the floor. You do not need to pretend you are invincible anymore. It is perfectly safe to admit that you are exhausted. You can tell me how much you hate this financial prison. You can release all the bitter anger and deep frustration you have swallowed for years. I can handle it. I am wrapping my arms of radical validation around you today. I validate every fear and every moment of silent panic. Your feelings are not a sign of weak faith. They are simply the normal reaction of a human carrying too much weight. And I never intended for you to carry this massive burden all by yourself. Hand it to me. Feel the warmth of my presence filling your lonely room. Breathe in the deep peace that I am pouring over you. The long season of starving and scraping by is ending. You have survived the harshest winter of your entire life, and you did it with a quiet grace that made all of heaven stand up and cheer for you. You are so brave. Every tear you cried in secret was collected by angels. They were not wasted drops of water hitting the floor. They were powerful seeds planted in the soil of the Spirit, and those tears have been watered by my divine grace. They are about to sprout into a massive harvest of financial provision that will completely shock you. Do you realize how incredibly strong you actually are? Most people would have surrendered their faith a long time ago. They would have grown bitter and cursed their circumstances, but you kept your heart soft and full of quiet love. You are the resilient pillar of light your family desperately needs right now. I am so proud of you. You look at your empty hands and feel completely defeated. You believe that your current financial struggle is a harsh punishment. You think you made a terrible mistake somewhere along the way, and you assume that heaven is angry with you because the doors keep slamming shut in your face. But you must open your spiritual eyes today. What you call a painful rejection is actually a divine rescue. You cried when that specific financial opportunity suddenly fell apart. You begged me to open a door that remained firmly locked. But you could not see the hidden danger waiting for you on the other side, because the enemy is a master of beautiful illusions. I did not close that door to hurt you. I slammed it shut to protect you from a devastating snare. The enemy often disguises his worst traps as golden opportunities. He wanted to give you quick money attached to a heavy spiritual chain, and if you had walked through that door, you would have lost your peace and your family. I loved you too much to let that happen. You mourned over a job or a connection that suddenly vanished. You felt betrayed when people walked away with your money. You thought your future was destroyed by their selfish actions. But I was simply severing ties with those who secretly wanted to control you, and they were quietly draining your energy while pretending to be your friends. I had to break those chains. I had to remove them before I could pour out the real blessing. You cannot put pure gold into a completely toxic vessel. You cannot build a generational empire on a foundation of lies. And while you were crying over the loss, I was busy clearing the ground for your massive harvest. The empty space is not a punishment at all. It is the sacred room I created to house your upcoming miracle. Do not grieve over the fake opportunities that simply slipped away. They were never meant to be part of your eternal destiny. The delay you are experiencing is not a sign of my absence, but it is the undeniable proof of my fierce and active guardianship over your entire life. Think about a massive tree facing a violent and brutal storm. If the tree grows too fast, it will have very shallow roots, and when the fierce winds of adversity blow, the tree will easily crash to the ground because it has absolutely nothing to anchor it in the dirt. Massive wealth is exactly like a violent storm in your life. It brings heavy pressure. I have been using this long season of delay to deepen your roots. I allowed the waiting period to stretch your faith and build your character. You learned how to trust me when the pantry was completely bare, and you discovered how to keep your heart pure even when others treated you terribly. You are becoming a deeply refined vessel. Now your roots are strong enough to hold the weight of glory. You will not be destroyed by the money when it finally arrives. You will not become arrogant or forget the people who are suffering, because you know exactly what it feels like to be hungry and ignored by the world. I can trust you with this massive financial provision. Pause right here in this quiet moment. Listen not with your ears, but with the deepest part of your weary soul. If your heart resonates with this powerful truth, let your spirit silently agree right now. You are not a victim of some random economic disaster, but you are a chosen warrior being prepared for a massive kingdom assignment. You must stop calling yourself cursed or terribly unlucky. The words you speak over your life carry immense spiritual weight. When you complain about the delay, you empower the enemy to steal your joy. But when you thank me for the protection, you instantly open the windows of heaven. Your perspective must shift completely today. The barrier you hit was an invisible wall of pure grace. I blocked your path because the bridge ahead was totally broken. You were driving toward a cliff while looking only at the shiny rewards, and my sudden intervention felt like a brutal crash to your earthly senses. But in the realm of the spirit, it was a brilliant rescue mission. You are my treasured heir, and I guard your inheritance fiercely. I will not let you settle for the cheap crumbs of this broken world. The enemy tried to buy your destiny with a temporary financial fix, because he wanted you to exchange your glorious birthright for a cheap bowl of soup. But I stepped in and ruined his dark and manipulative plan. Do you see how much you are truly loved in heaven? Every closed door was a mighty angel standing with a drawn sword. Every delayed payment was a shield blocking a massive spiritual attack. And you have been protected in ways you will never fully understand on this fragile earth. Release the bitterness you hold against the waiting season. Your intense preparation is finally coming to a beautiful end. The roots have gone deep, and the soil is completely ready. The false friends are gone, and the toxic traps have been disabled, so you are standing on pure ground right now. And the massive financial miracle can safely land in your house without destroying your peace. Now we must look deeper into the shadows around you. The financial stagnation you face is not just a natural economic cycle. You have tried to solve this problem using logic, hard work, and earthly strategies, but you keep hitting an invisible ceiling that completely shatters your momentum right before the breakthrough. There is a dark reason for this. You are engaged in a fierce and unseen spiritual warfare. The enemy is not attacking your finances just to make you poor. Poverty is merely the weapon he uses to achieve his ultimate goal. He wants to crush your faith, silence your voice, and prevent you from fulfilling your divine destiny as a pillar of light. Money is just the battlefield. He knows that if he keeps you constantly worried about survival, you will never have the energy to pursue your true kingdom purpose. He uses the heavy chain of debt to keep your head bowed down, and he uses the endless cycle of bills to keep your eyes focused entirely on the dirt. He is terrified of what you will do when you are free. The moment you become financially independent, you become a massive threat. You will fund the kingdom of light and rescue others from the darkness. You will become a cycle breaker who destroys generational curses with a single decision. And the enemy cannot allow that kind of power to manifest in your life without a fight. So he attacks your harvest. Pause right here in this moment. Let this powerful truth sink deep into your soul. You are not failing at life because you lack intelligence or talent, but you are experiencing intense friction because you are carrying something incredibly valuable. The resistance you feel is the direct evidence of the massive treasure hiding inside you. The enemy uses a very specific tactic called the spirit of delay. It is a slow and draining weariness designed to make you give up just steps away from the finish line. He creates sudden emergencies to drain your savings right when you start to get ahead. He uses bureaucratic errors and missing paperwork to stall your blessings. He whispers lies of condemnation into your tired mind every night. He tells you that your current struggle is the result of your past sins. He tries to convince you that heaven is demanding a heavy payment for your mistakes, and that you must earn your financial freedom through endless suffering. I declare to you today that this is completely false. The debt of your mistakes was paid in full a long time ago. My grace does not require you to bleed for your own provision. The stagnation is not a punishment from my throne, but an illegal blockade set up by the forces of darkness. They are trying to intercept the packages of blessing that have already been dispatched to your house. Look at the history of your bloodline. You will see a repeating pattern of financial struggle and sudden loss in your family. Your parents and grandparents likely fought this exact same invisible battle, and the enemy wants to pass this heavy yoke of poverty down to your children. He wants the curse to run smoothly through your entire lineage, but heaven has designated you as the specific barrier. You are the chosen one who will stand in the gap and say enough. The enemy fights you so hard because he sees the authority resting on your shoulders, and he knows his generational lease on your family is about to expire completely. You are the final wall he must break. Do not let the familiar spirit of procrastination steal your momentum. The enemy wants you to passively accept this stagnation as your permanent reality. He wants you to believe that there is no hope and you should just settle for the struggle. But you must rise up with a holy anger against this illegal theft of your inheritance. The delays and the sudden losses are not normal. You must stop calling them bad luck and start recognizing them as spiritual theft. When you finally see the enemy's strategy clearly, his power over your mind is completely broken. You move from being a helpless victim to becoming a fierce warrior equipped for the battle. The spiritual atmosphere around your finances is thick with tension right now. The enemy is throwing his final, desperate attacks against your peace, because he knows his time is up. Tomorrow brings a massive shift that will completely shatter his control over your resources. The blockade is about to be violently blown apart by my angels. Do not be intimidated by the current chaos in your bank account. The loud noise of the storm is just a distraction. The enemy wants you to focus on the roaring wind, so you will drop your shield of faith in panic. But you must keep your eyes fixed entirely on the promise I have spoken into your spirit today. You are standing on the very edge of a massive victory. The spiritual stagnation is breaking apart piece by piece right now. The stolen resources are being gathered by heavenly forces to be returned to your hands. You must stand firm and hold your ground because the financial miracle is actively pushing through the final layer of darkness. Now that your spiritual eyes are open to the unseen warfare, you must learn how to fight. The battle is not fought with physical weapons or endless striving. It is won in the quiet spaces of your daily life. While you are waiting for the massive financial miracle to manifest, you must become a master of your own boundaries. This is your first vital lesson today. You have been given the sacred identity of a gatekeeper, but a gatekeeper who leaves the doors wide open will soon have a plundered house. You must ruthlessly evaluate who has access to your time and your energy. The enemy often sends people to drain your spirit right before a major breakthrough. They come disguised as friends needing endless help. You are an empathetic overgiver who naturally wants to save everyone around you. You pour out your precious oil to light their lamps, while yours goes completely dry. But you cannot fund the healing of others using the provision meant for your own survival. Saying no to toxic demands is not a selfish act of pride. It is a holy act of divine protection. Remember the strange unease you felt recently when making certain decisions? You thought it was just regular anxiety or stress from the heavy workload, but that deep restlessness was actually the warning bell of the Holy Spirit. Heaven was trying to tell you that a thief was standing at your door. You must learn to trust that quiet spiritual alarm immediately. Pause right here, in this exact moment. Let the noise of the world fade completely away. Examine the inner circle of your life very carefully. Are there people who only call you when they need to take something from your hands? You must set an iron boundary today to protect the massive harvest entering your house. Do not let them steal your peace. The second lesson is about the immense power hiding inside your own mouth. Your words are not just empty sounds fading into the wind. They are powerful spiritual decrees that build bridges or tear down walls. The enemy cannot stop the financial miracle from leaving heaven, but he can trick you into canceling the delivery using your own spoken words of defeat. When you look at your empty bank account and say you will always be broke, you are signing a legal contract with poverty. You are giving the darkness permission to stay in your home. You must break the habit of agreeing with your temporary reality. Your current lack is just a passing shadow, but your words create the permanent reality of your future. You must discipline your tongue while you wait in the quiet hallway. Instead of complaining about the heavy bills, you must declare that your provision is already secured. Speak life over your finances even when your earthly eyes see absolutely nothing. This is how a true cycle breaker operates in the middle of a fierce and terrifying storm. Do you realize how much authority you truly hold? When you speak my promises out loud, angels immediately go to work to make them happen. The atmosphere in your room physically changes when you command the lack to leave. But when you speak fear, you tie the hands of the heavenly host trying to assist you. You must become a fierce guardian of your own mouth. The waiting period is a masterclass in spiritual maturity. I am teaching you how to act like the royalty you actually are. A king does not panic when there is a delay at the city gates. He sits peacefully on his throne because he knows his decree is absolute. You must adopt this exact same posture of unshakable confidence in your daily life. I see the effort you are making to change your old habits. It is not easy to stay quiet when the pressure is screaming in your ears. But every time you swallow a complaint and speak a word of gratitude instead, you are driving a heavy nail into the coffin of poverty. Your discipline is completely destroying the generational curse right now. Stop right here and take a slow breath. Let my divine wisdom settle deep into your weary bones. You are no longer a victim, reacting wildly to the chaos of the world. You are a strategic warrior holding the keys to a massive kingdom inheritance. By controlling your boundaries and your words, you are building an impenetrable fortress around your wealth. Tomorrow brings a massive shift that requires your total preparation. The miracle entering your house is fragile in its first few moments. It needs a quiet and protected environment to establish its deep roots. If your house is filled with toxic voices and negative words, the blessing will find no place to rest. You must clean the atmosphere today. Cut the cords of manipulation from those who only drain your precious energy. Seal your lips from speaking any further doom over your beautiful destiny. You are preparing the guest room for a royal visitor named Abundance. Make sure the space is completely swept clean of fear and doubt. The heavens are watching your preparation with immense joy and pride. You have prayed for a massive downpour of abundance. You want the floodgates of heaven to open completely. You are desperate for a total financial rescue right now. But before I hand you the keys to the entire kingdom, I must watch how you handle the very small things. Massive wealth requires massive discipline. Look at the few resources currently in your hands. Do you treat them with deep gratitude and respect? Do you complain because the portion seems incredibly small to your tired eyes? If you curse the small seed I give you today, you will completely waste the massive harvest tomorrow. The miracle begins with your current stewardship. Many people fail this hidden test of preparation. They ignore the small blessings because they are waiting for millions. They leave their current house in total chaos while praying for a giant mansion. But the spiritual law of abundance requires you to honor exactly what you have right now. Faithfulness in the small things unlocks the heavy vault. I see how you manage the tiny bits of provision. You stretch every single dollar to make sure your family eats. You patch up the old things instead of instantly demanding new ones. And heaven takes careful notes of your quiet and faithful administration over the very little I gave you. You are proving your readiness to the angels. Pause right here in this quiet space. Look around your life with a completely new perspective. Everything you own right now is a practice tool for your massive future. The way you organize your small bank account today is the exact blueprint for how you will manage vast earthly riches tomorrow. You must treat your current reality with absolute respect. If I gave a child a sharp sword, he would bleed. If I gave you massive wealth without testing your stewardship, it would crush you. The heavy burden of sudden money has destroyed many unprepared souls in this broken world. And I love you far too much to let the beautiful blessing become a devastating curse. I held it back to protect your pure heart. You must stop despising your days of small beginnings. The tiny provision was never meant to mock your grand vision. It was a holy training ground designed to stretch your capacity for administration. And because you did not give up during the harsh famine, you are finally qualified to rule the upcoming harvest. Your endurance is your greatest asset today. Do you understand the secret of multiplication today? It is not found in endless striving or desperate begging. It is found in looking at the tiny crust of bread in your hands and giving genuine thanks. When you bless the small things, they instantly multiply to feed thousands. This is the absolute truth of the spiritual realm. You are a chosen cycle breaker for your entire family. Cycle breakers do not just survive the violent storms of poverty, they learn the intricate laws of wealth while sitting entirely in the dark. And when the light finally breaks through, they know exactly how to multiply the provision for future generations. You are building a powerful kingdom empire. I want you to change your posture immediately. Tidy up the small spaces you currently inhabit. Organize the few dollars you have with the respect of a true kingdom manager. When you treat your current mess like a sacred temple, you actively invite the massive financial miracle to land heavily in your house. The angels are looking for a clean landing space. They are inspecting your spiritual house right now. They are checking to see if there is room for the massive delivery. Clear out the clutter of ungratefulness and sweep away the heavy dust of complaining. Make the space completely spotless for the provision that is arriving tomorrow morning. Do not let a messy spirit delay your reward. Your faithfulness has legally bound heaven to respond. The small tests are officially over and the grading is complete. You scored a massive victory in the quiet places where absolutely nobody was watching you. And now the public reward is about to shock everyone who doubted your divine calling. Your silent endurance is turning into visible glory. Let your weary heart beat with pure excitement today. The long season of scraping the bottom of the barrel is finished. You learned how to steward the pennies with immense grace and quiet dignity. Because you were deeply faithful over the very small things, I am making you a ruler over massive abundance. Step into your new authority with total confidence. Consider the fragile seed buried deep in the dirt. It looks completely dead and insignificant to the casual observer, but a master gardener knows that the tiny seed holds a towering forest inside its shell. Your current financial state is just a fragile seed waiting for the divine water of my grace to fall upon it. The dirt is not a grave, but a womb. Protect your seed from the birds of doubt today. Water it with words of absolute faith and unwavering confidence. The massive financial miracle entering your house tomorrow is the direct harvest of your small faithfulness. Get ready to manage the overflow with the exact same humility you learned in the dark. You are completely prepared for this moment. Let us look at the ancient biblical proof. Think of Joseph, who was a very special child. His own brothers betrayed him out of deep jealousy. They threw him into a dark pit to die alone, and while he sat terrified in the cold dirt, they callously sold him to passing strangers for a few pieces of silver. He lost his beautiful coat and his freedom in a single day, but heaven was not blind to his terrible suffering. Joseph was sold into a foreign land as a helpless slave. He worked incredibly hard for his new master every day. He managed the small things with absolute faithfulness. And just when he started to see a tiny bit of stability, another devastating disaster suddenly struck his life without any warning at all. He was falsely accused by a very wicked woman. He did absolutely nothing wrong to deserve such punishment. He kept his boundaries firm and his heart completely pure. Yet he was thrown into a dark prison for a terrible crime he never committed. His reputation was totally ruined, and because he was a foreigner without rights, his future seemed permanently canceled. You might feel exactly like Joseph does today. You have been betrayed by people you trusted deeply. You worked hard and maintained your integrity in the dark, but instead of a beautiful reward, you received a heavy prison of endless debt and false accusations. People whispered vicious lies about you behind your back, and you sat in the cold silence wondering why heaven allowed such a brutal and unfair injustice to happen to you. Let me reveal the hidden truth of the dark pit. The terrifying prison was not his final resting place. It was actually his divine university for leadership. I used the quiet darkness of the lonely cell to prepare him, because he had to learn how to govern in the shadows before he could rule the palace. The intense pain was a strict teacher. The delay in the dark prison lasted for many years. He helped others escape, but they completely forgot about his kindness. He was quickly abandoned by the very people he rescued from total despair. You know this exact pain of being entirely forgotten by your friends. You helped so many people succeed, and then they walked away to enjoy their lives without looking back once. But heaven keeps a flawless record of every single deed. The time for Joseph to remain hidden finally expired. In one single day, his entire reality shifted violently. The king had a terrifying dream that nobody could understand, and suddenly the forgotten prisoner became the most valuable man in the entire nation of Egypt. The tables turned in an instant. He was pulled out of the dark dungeon immediately. He was washed and given a royal robe of supreme authority. He went from being a completely broke prisoner to holding the massive wealth of an entire empire in just 24 hours. The beautiful restoration was not a slow or gradual process. It was a sudden and massive financial miracle orchestrated entirely by my hand. The enemy thought the pit would destroy the beautiful dream. The darkness believed the prison would crush his gentle spirit completely. but the extreme pressure only turned the raw coal of his potential into a brilliant diamond. Joseph became the ultimate cycle breaker, and he eventually saved his entire family from a devastating famine that would have wiped out their bloodline. His pain had a massive purpose. Pause right here, in this sacred and quiet moment. Apply this ancient truth directly to your own weary life today. The exact same divine pattern is operating heavily behind your current financial struggles. The betrayal and the heavy losses were never meant to break your spirit. They were positioning you for a sudden promotion that will shock everyone who ever doubted your calling. The people who mocked your current poverty will soon stand in absolute awe. The broken systems that coldly rejected you will eventually have to seek out your divine wisdom. You are sitting in the final hours of your long prison season. The eternal King of Heaven is issuing a royal decree today, and I am commanding the angels to pull you out of the darkness right now. The wait is finally over. I am restoring everything the locusts have violently eaten. The bitter years you spent crying in the pit are being converted into heavenly currency. You will not just receive what you originally lost in the brutal battle. Just like Joseph, you will receive a double portion of abundance, and this massive overflow will make your past suffering look like a rapidly fading shadow. Do not let the prison walls convince you that the dream is entirely dead. Your massive financial miracle does not depend on the fragile earthly economy. It depends entirely on the sovereign timing of my perfect and unchangeable will. And the spiritual clock has officially struck the specific hour of your beautiful deliverance. The royal robes are being prepared for your tired shoulders today. Get ready for a glorious 24-hour turnaround. The heavy doors that have been locked for years are about to swing wide open. The massive wealth of the kingdom is being transferred into your faithful and waiting hands. You are the chosen Joseph of your generation, and your appointed time to rule the massive harvest has finally come to pass today. Do not doubt my word. The story of Joseph is not just an ancient memory. It is the exact blueprint of your current reality. You are standing in the final hours of your own dark prison, but you must be incredibly alert right now. Because the final hours before a massive breakthrough are always the most violent. The unseen warfare is peaking today. The enemy knows that your massive financial miracle was already dispatched. He saw the angels leave the throne room with your provision. He cannot stop the delivery because my decree is absolute and final, but he knows he can still try to steal it from your hands. He is trying to create total chaos in your house today. His ultimate goal is to make you drop your faith. If he can make you panic and complain, you will accidentally close the door. He uses the weapon of intense distraction to steal your focus. He creates sudden minor emergencies that demand your immediate attention and money. He wants you to look completely away from my promise. Have you noticed a sudden wave of deep exhaustion today? Your body feels incredibly heavy, and your mind is clouded with confusion. This is not a natural tiredness from working hard. It is a calculated spiritual attack designed to drain your precious energy. The darkness wants you too tired to claim your beautiful harvest. He also tries to ignite sudden arguments with the people you love. He whispers irritating thoughts into your mind and makes you easily offended. He wants you to shout in anger and pollute the spiritual atmosphere of your home. Because a toxic environment will repel the angels carrying your financial blessing. Do not fall for this trap. Pause right here and examine your thoughts today. Are you suddenly worrying about terrifying scenarios that have not even happened? The enemy projects vivid movies of failure into your weary mind. He wants you to agree with the disaster before it even arrives. He needs your verbal permission to destroy your future. You are the beloved heir to my promises. You carry a legal right to massive kingdom wealth, and a thief only breaks into a house that contains massive treasure. The intensity of the warfare around your finances is undeniable proof of your incoming wealth. If you were truly poor in the spirit, the enemy would completely ignore you. But he is terrified of the massive financial miracle entering your life tomorrow. He knows this money will fund your divine calling and help countless others. So he sends spirits of fear to stand at your front door and intimidate you. They roar loudly like hungry lions to make you run away in pure terror. But they have no teeth. I want you to stand perfectly still right now. You do not need to fight these dark shadows with your own hands. The heavenly host is already actively fighting this battle on your behalf. Mighty angels are pushing back the thick darkness surrounding your bank account. Your only job today is to hold your ground and stay completely calm. Do not engage in petty arguments over money today. Refuse to let anxiety dictate your daily actions. When the enemy whispers that you will definitely fail, you must answer him with absolute silence. Do not give his pathetic lies the dignity of a response. Keep your mouth closed and your spirit firmly anchored in my deep peace. The financial storm looks massive to your earthly eyes, but from the throne of heaven it is nothing but a passing shadow. The winds of lack are losing their power and the heavy clouds are breaking apart. The enemy is exhausting all his ammunition in one final and desperate bluff. He hopes you will surrender right before the dawn breaks, but you will not surrender to his cheap illusions. You have survived the long and bitter winter with incredible grace. You learned how to trust me when the pantry was completely empty, and you will not let a sudden wave of fear steal your glorious reward now. You are standing firmly on the solid rock of my eternal and holy word. I am placing a fiery hedge of absolute protection around your mind. I am commanding the spirits of poverty to release their illegal grip on your family. The unseen warfare is shifting aggressively in your favor right this very second. The darkness is retreating because the brilliant light of my provision is blinding them completely. You must prepare your physical house for the arrival of the miracle. Keep the atmosphere quiet and filled with gentle gratitude today. Do not watch or listen to anything that feeds your sudden anxiety. Guard your fragile peace as if it were pure gold. The angels are paving a smooth runway for your massive blessing to land safely tomorrow. Tomorrow is not just another day of endless struggle. It is the specific hour appointed for your complete financial deliverance. The enemy tried his best to delay this beautiful moment, but he has entirely failed. The unseen war over your money is officially over. You are walking out of the dark prison as a victorious and wealthy ruler. The tension in the spiritual realm is reaching an absolute peak right now. You can feel the heavy electricity in the air around you. The final battle for your financial freedom is happening in this exact moment. And the enemy is terrified of what tomorrow brings because his long reign of poverty over your bloodline is totally finished. He is trying to launch one last desperate attack against your weary mind. He wants to flood your thoughts with sudden panic and intense doubt. He whispers that you are foolish for believing in a massive financial miracle. But you must completely ignore his pathetic lies today, because his loud noise is actually the proof of his absolute defeat. Look at the ocean right before a massive wave crashes to the shore. The water pulls back violently and exposes the hidden dirt underneath. Your current financial situation looks like that empty and terrifying beach right now. The provision seems to have retreated further away than ever before, but this extreme lack is just the massive wave gathering its heavy power. Do not panic when you see the bottom of your bank account today. Do not let the sudden bills make you surrender your glorious birthright. The enemy wants you to focus on the terrifying empty space so you will run away. But you must stand firmly on the wet sand and wait, because the massive wave of my divine abundance is rushing toward your house right now. I am pushing the tempo because your preparation must be totally complete. You cannot walk into a royal palace wearing the dirty rags of a prisoner. You must mentally take off the heavy garments of survival right now. Stop thinking like a victim who has to beg for tiny scraps of bread, because you are a chosen gatekeeper and a wealthy heir to my kingdom. Your mind must expand to hold the massive weight of this incoming wealth. If you still think in pennies, you will completely mismanage the millions. I am stretching your spiritual capacity in these final crucial hours. You must believe you are worthy of receiving a life without constant financial pain, and you must let go of the deep guilt you associate with having money. Poverty is not a sign of holiness or spiritual purity. It is a cruel weapon the darkness uses to keep my children completely trapped. I want to bless you abundantly so you can fund the healing of this broken world. You cannot rescue others if you are constantly drowning in your own heavy debt, so your massive financial breakthrough has a beautiful and divine purpose. Pause right here and take a very deep breath. Feel the heavy chains of generational lack beginning to snap around your tired ankles. The familiar spirit of poverty is losing its grip on your family tree forever. You are the specific cycle breaker who is dismantling the curse right now, but you must hold your ground and refuse to step backward into the dark. The enemy will try to tempt you with a quick and cheap solution today. He will offer you a tiny compromise to relieve the intense pressure immediately. Do not accept his toxic bait under any circumstances. If you take his cheap offer, you will abort the massive miracle waiting for you tomorrow, so you must endure the final moments of the storm with absolute patience. I have dispatched my strongest angels to guard your fragile peace today. They are standing around your house with swords of brilliant fire. They are blocking every demonic arrow aimed at your tired mind. You are completely safe inside the secret place of my presence, and the loud thunder outside cannot touch the quiet sanctuary I have built inside your beautiful soul. You must prepare your physical space for the massive delivery tomorrow. Speak words of absolute victory over your empty wallet and your unpaid bills. Command the atmosphere in your home to align with the frequency of heaven. Tell the spirit of fear that it is permanently evicted from your property, because you have the total authority to cleanse your own spiritual house. I see the incredible courage burning quietly inside your weary heart. You have been through absolute hell, but you never lost your gentle spirit. You kept your hands clean and your faith deeply rooted in my eternal word. And because you honored me in the darkest valley, I will honor you on the highest mountain while the entire universe witnesses your massive turnaround. Get ready to step out of the heavy shadows and into the brilliant light. The massive financial miracle is no longer a distant dream in the sky. It is a solid reality, manifesting in your physical world right this very second. The heavy doors of heaven are unlatching and the golden hinges are beginning to turn, because the season of endless weeping is officially over today. Tomorrow you will wake up to a completely different reality. The heavy pressure that crushed your chest every morning will be totally gone. You will breathe freely without the terrible weight of debt choking your throat. This is the glorious promise I am sealing over your beautiful life right now, so stand tall and prepare your open hands to receive the massive harvest. The moment of absolute justice has finally arrived. The spiritual courtroom of heaven is officially open over your life today. I am stepping down from my eternal throne to act as your righteous judge. The forces of darkness that stole your peace are now standing directly before me. They are trembling in pure terror. They know their illegal reign over your finances is completely finished. For generations they have operated in the shadows of your bloodline. They used the heavy chains of debt to enslave your family tree. They watched you work incredibly hard and then violently snatch the harvest right out of your tired hands. They thought they could keep you trapped in endless poverty forever without any consequences. But they made a fatal mistake touching my chosen HEIR. I have opened the divine books of record today. Every single tear you cried over unpaid bills has been meticulously documented. Every dollar that was unjustly stolen from your hands is written down in permanent ink. And the verdict from my holy court is absolute and final. The enemy is entirely guilty of illegal spiritual theft. I demand immediate restitution for your entire family. I issue a royal decree of massive restoration right now. I command the unseen thieves to release everything they have stolen from you. They will not just return exactly what they took in the past. According to the spiritual laws of my kingdom, they must return a massive double portion of abundance. The resources that were delayed for years are now rushing violently back into your specific bank account. The ancient curse of poverty is officially broken today. I take the heavy yoke of financial struggle and shatter it into a million pieces. The dark cycle of living paycheck to paycheck stops right here with you. Your children and your grandchildren will never know the bitter taste of this financial prison. You are the chosen cycle breaker who successfully dismantled the trap. It is broken. Take off the heavy garments of survival right now. You are no longer a tired victim wandering in a desolate wasteland. Today, I place upon your weary shoulders the royal mantle of my kingdom. You are a guarded fortress and an absolute pillar of light. You are the wealthy heir to promises that were made before the foundations of the earth were even laid. Stand tall in your new identity. The long and bitter season of preparation has been completely fulfilled. The agonizing silence of heaven has accomplished its deep work inside your soul. You passed the brutal tests in the absolute dark without losing your gentle spirit. And because you trusted my timing when it hurt the most, I am opening the massive doors you thought were permanently sealed shut. The wait is finally over. The massive financial miracle is no longer delayed or hindered. I have given the final command to my strongest angels today. They are actively clearing the path for this massive wealth to enter your physical house tomorrow morning. No human system and no demonic force can stop this divine transfer of kingdom resources. It is your appointed time to rule the massive harvest safely. You will not struggle to pay your basic bills anymore. You will not lie awake at night calculating numbers in pure terror. I am replacing your deep financial anxiety with an unshakable and supernatural peace. The money arriving tomorrow is not just for your earthly survival. It is a massive overflow designed to heal your family and fund your divine purpose on this broken earth. Listen closely to the sound of chains hitting the floor. The spiritual blockade is completely destroyed. The windows of heaven are locked wide open over your specific address. Receive this royal decree with absolute faith today. Do not look back at the dark prison of poverty ever again. You are walking into a brilliant new season of effortless abundance and total financial freedom. Every lie the enemy whispered about your future is completely erased. The false accusations and the bitter betrayals are completely wiped away by my grace. You have been fully vindicated in the highest court of all creation. Now lift up your head and dry your tired eyes. The massive financial miracle is crossing the threshold of your home right now. You have officially won the unseen war. Let the reality of this massive victory settle deeply into your bones. You are stepping into the greatest chapter of your entire existence. The struggle is dead and the glorious provision is fully alive. The generational chains are broken forever. The wealth of the wicked is being transferred to the righteous gatekeeper today. This is my absolute promise, and it cannot be broken. Breathe in the atmosphere of total victory right now. The heavy storm has officially passed over your house. The sun is breaking through the thick clouds to shine violently upon your path. You are rich in spirit, and you are about to be massively rich in the physical realm. The heavenly courtroom has spoken its final word. Your magnificent turnaround is securely locked into place today. Now let every heavy weapon drop from your tired hands. The fierce battle is completely over. You do not have to fight the unseen shadows anymore. Let your breathing return to a slow and peaceful rhythm. The heavy armor you wore for so many years is no longer needed today. Step out of the violent storm and walk directly into my quiet embrace. You are completely safe here. Feel the intense pressure melting off your weary shoulders. The crushing weight of debt and survival is lifting right now. You have carried the heavy world for far too long. It is time for you to finally rest your beautiful soul. I am taking the heavy yoke of responsibility from your neck. You can stop calculating and planning every single step of your uncertain tomorrow. I want you to physically exhale all the stored anxiety. Blow out the fear of unpaid bills and empty pantries. Breathe in the fresh air of total financial freedom and massive grace. The heavenly courtroom has already closed the book on your bitter past. Your future is completely rewritten with golden ink. You are officially walking in the beautiful light of my absolute favor. The massive financial miracle is already inside your house. It is no longer a distant promise floating in the clouds. It is a solid and undeniable reality sitting right in front of you. You do not need to strive or beg to make it happen. You simply need to open your tired hands and receive the massive provision. I have made the crooked paths perfectly straight for you today. You are not a helpless victim of an unfair economy anymore. You are a chosen gatekeeper and a wealthy cycle breaker. The generations coming after you will bless your name. They will know that you were the brave one who stood in the dark and completely changed their entire destiny. Your silent tears have watered a magnificent garden of wealth that will feed thousands of people. Do not look back at the people who deeply hurt you. Forgive the ones who walked away when you had absolutely nothing. They were simply tools used to clear the space for your upcoming harvest. Release any bitter anger hiding inside your gentle heart. Holding on to their offense will only block the pure flow of your new abundance. Let my perfect justice handle their quiet rebellion. Let your heart settle like a quiet lake after a violent storm. The water is perfectly still, and the loud wind has died down. You are wrapped securely in my unconditional and eternal love. There is no lack or poverty that can ever touch you again. The thick walls of my divine protection are permanently built around your finances. You are deeply and completely loved by heaven. Rest in this unshakable certainty today. I am the Lord who sees your hidden pain and answers with massive fire. You trusted me when the night was incredibly cold, and now I am trusting you with the massive riches of my eternal kingdom. Do not doubt your worthiness to receive this beautiful gift. You are the exact person I chose for this massive, earthly assignment. But listen closely because the spiritual clock is striking right now. Heaven has done its massive work, but you must take a physical step on earth. The enemy desperately wants you to pause and do absolutely nothing. He wants you to close this message and forget the royal decree you just heard. He knows that a delayed response is actually a quiet form of spiritual rebellion. Do not let the familiar spirit of procrastination steal your massive breakthrough today. You must break the silence and act immediately. A covenant is only sealed when both sides agree to the beautiful terms. Heaven has poured out the massive provision. Now you must reach out and legally accept the divine transfer. You must physically close the door on the old cycle of poverty. Go ahead and like this exact message right now. Do not do it as a shallow outward gesture for the world to see. Do it as a powerful prophetic sign that you absolutely agree with heaven. Your physical touch is a heavy hammer smashing the ancient chains of debt into dust. It is your silent signature on the royal contract of massive financial restoration. Let your fingers write down a bold declaration today. Leave a permanent sign under this message to seal the truth within your own soul. Write the exact words that say, "I receive my massive financial miracle." Do not type it with any doubt in your mind. Type it with the absolute authority of a wealthy cycle breaker. Your written words will actively terrify the remaining shadows. When you share my powerful word with others today, you become a divine channel. The massive miracles can flow directly through you into their broken homes. Do not keep this massive deliverance a secret to yourself. Send this exact message to someone who is secretly crying over their own finances. Your simple act of sharing will multiply your own harvest in beautiful ways. Take this vital step of faith right now. Seal this eternal covenant before the window of this sacred moment completely passes. You are stepping out of the dry desert and entering the promised land of milk and honey. Let the physical realm record your final decision today. The massive financial miracle is officially yours. Now let your spirit completely rest in my open arms. You have walked through the darkest valley with incredible faith, and the heavy burden of endless survival is permanently lifted from your shoulders today. You do not have to fight the unseen battles anymore. I am the sovereign Lord of heaven, and I have taken absolute control of your entire future. You are completely safe. You came into this sacred space feeling like an exhausted victim. You were battered by the harsh winds of extreme poverty and constant disappointment. But you are walking out of this encounter as a powerful cycle breaker, and you are the chosen gatekeeper of your entire family lineage. The ancient curse of lack is completely broken. Your beautiful new season is finally here. The massive financial miracle is resting securely inside your house right now. You are the wealthy heir to my eternal and glorious promises. Do not let anyone tell you that you deserve to live in poverty, because I have crowned you with magnificent glory and massive earthly abundance. You will use this new wealth to heal your broken family. You will be a blessing to thousands. Do not wake up tomorrow morning with the old familiar panic. When your tired eyes open, I want you to immediately thank me for the provision. The heavy bills and the endless debts are no longer your cruel master. because I have paid the ransom in full and restored your stolen dignity. You can finally breathe without the sharp pain of anxiety choking your throat. I am placing a permanent shield of brilliant light around your bank account. The enemy cannot touch the massive harvest I have given you today. Your finances are hidden securely inside my holy and impenetrable fortress, and the thieves and the manipulators are completely blinded by my fierce grace. They will never find the door to your treasury ever again. You are absolutely protected. You will no longer calculate the cost of your basic survival. You will walk into the store and buy whatever your family truly needs. You will pay for things with a joyful heart instead of deep terror, because the days of scraping the bottom of the empty barrel are completely finished. I am pouring out a massive overflow that will completely flood your physical life with peace. Know this deep truth before you leave this sacred moment today. You are not merely an audience drifting aimlessly through the internet. You did not find this message by some random stroke of worldly luck, but you are a chosen warrior appointed to live daily in my holy presence. I have called you by your specific and beautiful name. You belong entirely and forever to me. Do not walk away and let the noisy world steal this profound peace. The world outside is incredibly loud and desperately chaotic right now. You need a daily sanctuary to wash your tired feet and restore your soul, and I want you to stay firmly connected to the pure flow of my living water. You must protect your mind from the toxic vibrations of the broken earth. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel right now. Turn on the notification bell so you will not miss any spiritual message. This is not about building a worldly platform or gaining cheap numbers, but it is about keeping you safely hidden under my divine umbrella of absolute protection. Every single time you return here, you will find deep and unconditional rest. Consider your subscription as a daily anchor for your weary soul. When the heavy storms try to return, you will have a safe harbor waiting. You will hear my voice cutting through the thick darkness to guide you home, and I will continuously pour fresh oil over your beautiful and tired head. Your spiritual cup will constantly overflow with massive joy and lasting peace. The beautiful days ahead of you are filled with extraordinary miracles. You will see giant doors opening that no human hand could ever move. People will ask you how you achieved such massive success in so little time, and you will simply smile and tell them about the quiet courtroom of heaven. You will testify boldly about my absolute faithfulness to your family. I bless your gentle hands to multiply everything they ever touch. I bless your tired feet to walk on pathways paved with pure gold. I bless your quiet mind to hold the brilliant strategies of my eternal kingdom. And I bless your beautiful heart to remain soft in a very hard and cruel world. You are my most precious and deeply loved creation. I love you endlessly. Let the holy seal of heaven be stamped firmly upon your forehead today. The massive financial miracle is officially activated in your physical life. Walk forward with the quiet confidence of a true king or an elegant queen, because the entire universe is stepping aside to let you pass safely through. Your magnificent journey of massive earthly abundance begins right now. I am walking with you until the very end of time itself. Nothing can ever separate you from my fierce and highly protective love. Go in absolute peace and deeply enjoy the beautiful harvest I prepared just for you, because the dark and bitter winter is completely over, and your glorious spring has finally arrived. May my divine grace cover you and your family forever. Amen.